Hey, what's up, everybody? Christian Brindle here. I am back with someone doing big time things in the insurance industry. I'm joined with my friend Alex Branning, who's been on the channel before, but I'm always excited to be able to have a good conversation with him. Alex is the founder of Agent CRM, and they're doing amazing things over there
Yeah,
with their CRM, servicing agents, and just got a lot of respect for him and everything that they're doing.
awesome.
First off, Alex, how are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing great. I feel like I am like riding the wave here with Medicare and ACA agents. Y'all are in the storm fighting for your life. We're on the outside, like in the lifeboat, trying to make sure that agents are able to keep doing what you're doing. So
Yeah.
we're not in it as much. I'm not an insurance agent. I never have been, but I'm in the insurance marketing space and I've been doing that for 10 years. And I just feel like this year has been absolute chaos. There's been more fires that we've had to put out, more letters of suspension that we've had to help agents with. It just feels like bombs are going off all around us. It feels like a war zone. Whereas before, I felt like we were all mining for gold, everyone was winning. Now it's just like, how can we stay alive in this environment? So it's been a crazy, crazy experience for us. And we're not even the ones that are in it selling insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seems like it's just one thing after another. It's kind of been
Mhm.
an all year thing in a sense, right? Because if you look at ACA and Medicare, you had a ton of additional regulations come down for ACA,
Yep.
right? Earlier this
Mhm.
year, you had final rule going on in the Medicare world,
Mhm.
threatening to cripple the distribution network, I guess, of what is
Yeah.
Medicare, right? In the FMO space. And it's a crazy, crazy, crazy year. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like it. I want to dig into that kind of stuff. I want to kind of dive into the meat and potatoes of it. But before we
Mhm.
do, if anybody is not familiar with Alex and is not familiar with Agent CRM, give us a quick little introduction, right? Like, who
Mhm.
is Alex Branning? What is Agent CRM?
Yeah, so I've been a nerd who loved to code since I was 17. I started my company back then. I've been doing it for, gosh, it's 22, 23 years now. Math is hard at this time, but I've been really involved in the insurance space for the last 10, 11 years. 4 years ago, I started Agent CRM, white labeled version of Go High Level, specifically for the insurance market. And this is all we do, Christian. We eat, breathe, and sleep insurance marketing. We go over compliance, AI, and we only build for insurance agents. So we know the insurance market really well. We love insurance agents. We serve insurance agents. And we are constantly looking for ways to take the technology that is coming out and how can we innovate this and skinny it down specifically for insurance? Because most technology, especially in the online marketing space, is not built for insurance. It's built for e-com, it's built for coaching, things like that. But that's still really good technology that insurance agents can use. And so we have a full team of people that look out for technology and go, okay, how can we implement this inside of Agent CRM so that insurance agents can use it to help grow their business? So that's who I am and who Agent CRM is.
Love it. Love it. I always love getting to have conversations with you because I feel like I can talk to you about things that I can't talk to very many other people about, just because of all of your expertise and everything like that. So let's talk about what you were just saying. Let's kind of dig into the meat and potatoes
Mhm.
of this, right? So, agents really kind of getting these letters from CMS, this kind
Yeah.
of, fight that they're having. What are you seeing on agents that are kind of getting these notices from CMS? What are the notices looking like? What kind of information are they asking for? Is it like baseless accusations? We've seen some of it too, but I'm
Mm.
interested in kind of seeing what you're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, what the letters that we've seen are very specific. They don't appear to be baseless. They appear to be
Mm,
clients that are, saying, "Hey, I was swindled by this guy. I didn't mean to sign up for this." Like, and the agent is getting a letter with the exact client name and the exact time of day that they were supposed to have talked to them, and they're coming to us saying, help us figure this out, help us get out from under this." And so, we help them by just, hey, if you followed our process that we have in Agent CRM, you're good. Like, we have the signed consent form, you have it, dated, like, you're in a really good place. You can send that, you can send the recordings of the calls, like you're set up and you're ready to go. So we've been able to help a lot of agents get out from under that. Unfortunately, Christian, what we're seeing is that agents who did not use tech, who are not using, a CRM last year, are really getting in trouble. And because they can't prove it, they don't have phone call recordings, maybe The consent form is like gone in a filing cabinet somewhere, right? Like they're
Mhm.
having a really hard time being able to demonstrate, hey, what I did was legitimate. I followed the rules. I gave them everything that they needed to sign up for a policy. Like the agents that are using technology and have been using it, have been following at least the processes that we've set up, and others are as well. They're able to get off from under the thumb of these accusations. The ones who have not been using technology are coming to us saying, "Help! How can I come up with this? Like, what can we do?" We're like, we can't help you,
Right.
unfortunately, because you weren't using our system when they started, coming after you. Like last year, the biggest thing that we're seeing is, the agents that are really having a hard time with this are the ones that used no call leads last year. And
Mm.
so they're just getting wrecked,
Yeah.
unfortunately. So we were just talking to an agent like a couple weeks ago. He lost over $50,000 a month in recurring revenue because he was not able to prove that he had the signed letter of consent from the person who was accusing him of, you know, not signing him up for the right policy. So it's an absolute mess out there. Good news though, Christian, there are a lot of good software providers that can help agents stay compliant, stay up to date, and use all the fun insurance tools that are out there. Agent CRM is obviously one of them, but there's a lot of ways that you can continue to operate your business at a high level of efficiency, at a high level of tech, and still be good to go when people file accusations against you. So don't fear, just pick the right tool.
I love it. I love it. And I've always said that the best defense for accusations is great documentation.
Yes.
And and I think I was having a conversation about this actually recently with somebody, and you think about the model of the stereotypical insurance agent, right? Like when I got
Mhm.
started, the average insurance agent was a 59-and-a-half-year-old white man. And that was like the stereotypical like demographic of insurance agent,
Yeah.
right? In Medicare anyway. I don't know about any other space, but like that person, and there's still plenty of them out there, they're driving to every appointment, right?
Mhm.
They're sitting down at kitchen tables. They're taking a lot of calls on their cell phones, right? They don't really have a method, or maybe they have a method of recording those calls, but they're not. It's all over the place, right? The documentation's
Yeah.
not there, right? Like
Yep.
anything that happened
Yep.
is just up here. And
Yeah.
those are the people like and I feel for them, right? Because there's so many great people in our industry that do business that way. They built a good
Yep.
business that way. They built a good clientele that way. But I think if this is a lesson for anything, it's just that like you need great documentation, and that's not possible
Yes.
without good technology solutions, right? Like
Yeah. Absolutely.
you need your calls recorded, you need good notes, you need all of your forms organized in a place where you can easily access them. Like, and I think going forward, I don't think there's a future in the space unless you have the ability to protect yourself. Because I've always said, like, if an agent, and this goes for Medicare and ACA, if someone if I ever talk to an agent, they say I've never gotten an allegation, it usually means they haven't been in the business long enough because it's bound
Mm.
to happen. I always say on the Medicare space, if you're doing a good job, you'll probably see one every 500 to 700 clients, somewhere in there,
Mm.
even if you do everything
Yeah.
right.
Right.
And I think it's such an important message that people need to hear right now. I mean,
Mhm.
so let's dig into this a little deeper, right? Because I'm fascinated
Mhm.
by this conversation, right? So I am. What do you feel like is saving people the most? Is it the consent forms? Is it a
Mm.
combination of things?
It's a combination of things. I mean, it's really, you got to document everything. You got to document the emails that are coming in. You got to document the text messages that you send, that they send to you. You got to document the phone calls that you have. Like they got to be recorded. It's super important to show that they signed the consent form. Like that's number one. Like if they didn't sign the consent form, but if you have everything else, it doesn't even matter because that is like that. If that's not there, then the rest of it is moot. So for Medicare scope of appointment, you got to be able to prove, that they signed it at a specific time and date, that they knew what they were getting into and that the appointment was 48 hours. Like these are questions that agents are being asked. And so it's just important that you have everything documented and streamlined and easy to find and easy to see. And so for us at Agent CRM, I can speak to us and, we help you document everything, keep track of every single thing, all the texts that go in and out, all the emails that go in and out, the phone calls that you have, like all the scopes and consent forms are saved as PDFs to the contact. That way, God forbid you get the letter, you can go, okay, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to log into my Agent CRM, find when I talk to John Doe. Oh, great. Here's everything. Awesome. I'm going to download and print these consent forms. I'm going to, send screen shares of all the emails and texts that I sent. I'm going to send them the call recordings. I'm good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a hassle. It's scary as all heck to get those letters. It's never fun. But when you have the documentation and the proof that you did everything the right way, man, you feel a lot better about continuing to do business in an environment that is so tough.
Yeah. We one of our internal agents got an allegation on the Medicare side.
Mm,
I think it was about 3 or 4 months ago. And the allegation that the client was making was that she didn't want to be put on the plan that she was on, or
mhm.
she didn't understand that she'd been put on that plan, something like that.
Right, right.
And so we did some digging. We dug into it a little bit, and it was the funniest thing of all time because not only did we had full call recordings, which refuted that claim, we had a Google review from the client that was like, so and so agent did such a great job putting me on XYZ plan and I love it, or something like that. It was so damning. And so we reply to the carrier and we make sure to include a screenshot of the Google review. And within 24 hours, we had a response back from the carrier, and it was like, we side with you guys. There's clearly enough evidence here. You're
Yeah,
good, kind of
I
deal.
love it.
And
I love it.
that's the kind of stuff. I mean, as agents, I think that's what they need. They have to protect ourselves because I think this is just a different environment from what we had
Yeah.
maybe even 3 to 5 years ago. It's
Hmm.
just a different environment. Like, not to say that not to say that that ever was not important. It certainly was, but like, man, I think it's just ever so important in this landscape we're in right now.
100%. One of the other things that agents are doing to shoot themselves in the foot that I just want to like call out real quick is they're
Sure.
experimenting with new tools before those new tools are proven, specifically AI, specifically with the web
Mm,
chat and the voice AI, because man, unless those tools have guardrails on them, they will start to just come up with things, and they'll answer for you because they're calling you or they're texting you. And then that AI bot is answering for you and saying things that are completely like off the mark that you would never actually say to that person. So, just as a word of warning, if you're in the Medicare and ACA space, please, for the love of God, do not just use any AI bot, any AI voice AI tool. Make sure that you have an AI engineer on your team or in your software that knows how to put these guardrails around it so that the AI bot will not go around those. So I had a crazy scenario happen where again, this is somebody who came to us. They're like, hey, this happened. How can you help me avoid this happening again? And at the previous CRM, I'm not going to name them, they had an AI bot, and the AI bot got a text message in from a client saying, hey, before I sign up, I just want to know, does this policy also include coverage for cancer? Right. So, and
mm.
the AI bot was like, yeah, absolutely. Well, guess what? It didn't.
Oh no.
And so, yeah, like how would the AI bot even know the answer to that? Right. But it's like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, of course it does. Right. So, like, it answered in the affirmative. And the agent got in all kinds of just blew up the whole deal. The agent got in trouble. They didn't get suspended, but, they got in trouble. I don't know exactly what happened, but they're like, how can you make sure this doesn't happen to me? And so that's just something to keep in mind as you guys are using these tools because the tools are great. Like I highly recommend plugging in AI that can respond to texts and emails like this, but you just want to make sure that it's got guardrails on it. Otherwise, it could get you in trouble. So the environment is just way too dangerous right now to be experimenting with new tools. So yeah, just want to throw that out. That's a huge one.
I think that's such a great point because, like, especially if it's like an AI voice replicating tool, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those are pretty convincing. They
100%.
sound like you. You could
Yeah.
probably. I mean, and so it's one of those things where it's like, that's that can sound really damning if they have a recording of you
Yep.
theoretically
Yep.
saying
Yep.
something that's just totally off the rails. It's
100%.
it's pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah, yeah. Highly recommend not using the voice replicator tools. If you are going to use AI, like one of the things that we tell our agents to do, we don't use any voice AI at the moment, just to be clear.
Mm,
But the AI that we do have is for text and email, and we advise them to say, hey, if they're responding or if they're saying an email, put in the note, this is, Christian Brindle's AI assistant responding to the email, and here's the answer that I give, right? So,
Yeah.
it's identifying to the prospect that they are being responded to by an AI bot, and 1 in 100 is going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe you used that. But the others are just so happy that they get a response that quickly. And so it's been very well received. But I highly recommend that, for that specific use case, Christian, make sure that the person knows this is an AI bot. This is not Christian typing this out and responding. Like, this is an AI bot responding on your behalf.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense. I think it's so smart, because then
Mhm.
that disclaimer is put up there right at the
Yep.
beginning. There's no confusion or anything like that. So I think that's great. Let's talk about the agents that you're seeing that
Mhm.
are having, despite all of the challenges going on, just right, despite plan cancellations in the Medicare side, non-commissionable plans,
No.
the agents that you're seeing that are really crushing it, what
Mhm.
are they doing right now? What
Yeah,
are they
that's a
doing
great
that's
question.
that's really causing them to really thrive, you think?
Yeah, the agents that are thriving are using automation and AI to make sure that they don't let things slip through the cracks, right? So,
Mm.
there's so many things that need to happen in a day-to-day basis for agents to not only continue to serve their book of business, but also grow their book with new people that they need to onboard and learn about and all that stuff. So, how do you do that in an efficient way? Well, you can use automation to do a lot of those things, right? So, you can set up, great intake forms. You can set up AI to respond to questions as they come in. You can even empower your CRM so that it knows, hey, this is when Christian's available for support calls. This is when he's available for referral calls. Like, you can have different calendars for different things, which helps you really block out your day so that not only are you still serving your book of business, but you're also setting aside time for growth activities. And so the agents that we're seeing crush it are using automations really effectively. They're leaning into technology, not backing away from it. And because of that, we're seeing a lot of just great uses of time, really optimizing their schedule. And we're also seeing those agents not make mistakes. One of the things that automation does is by setting in this process in stone as a technology, tool, is that you eliminate human error when you manually do things, right? And so the agents that are doing things on Google Sheets, going to face-to-face appointments, they're doing great. Like, we love those agents that are thriving in this environment, still doing things the old-fashioned way, right? Nothing but respect. But they also are doing a lot more work than is necessary, right? I think we can all
Sure.
agree that they're doing
Yeah.
a lot more, right? And so the agents that are thriving are the ones that are doing the absolute bare minimum, and they're only doing the revenue generating tasks, and they're letting technology do as much as it possibly can.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it makes so much sense. I mean, there's everyone has the same amount of time in the day, and the
Mhm.
person that uses their time more effectively is always going to win, you
Yep.
know? And I think it's becoming more and more important too, because I think, especially on the lead side, we see this on the lead side, like
Mm.
if you compare lead, let's say pickup rates from when you call leads versus 10 years
Yep.
ago, the pickup rates are dramatically lower. Well, why is that? There's
Yep.
more calls, there's robocalls, there's AI calls, there's all these things. There's more reasons for people not to pick up the phone. And so making a million calls is not always necessarily the answer. I mean, you have to be effective about it. I think the automation helps so much with the contact rate. I've always said
Mhm.
if the contact rate is high, your close rate's going to be high too. I think they
Right.
they have direct correlation with each other. And so
100%.
I said that recently to someone, and they were like, they were like, well, if the sales strategy sucks, I'm like, well, I get it, but I'm like, but if you're not reaching anyone, it doesn't matter how good your
Right.
sales skills are. You're talking to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You could be the best salesperson, in your state. But if you're talking to 5 people and the
Yeah,
salesperson that sucks is talking to 50, the salesperson that sucks is going to sell more than you because they're
absolutely.
getting put in more more opportunities to close the deal. So I remember, it's so funny you brought that up. I remember I was talking to this guy. He was new to the industry, and he was using Facebook ads and automation. And he was like, yeah, he was doing these 30-minute appointments every single day, like every single day without fail. His entire calendar was booked up, and he was talking to, I think it was like 20 people a day, right? And like the young guy his closing rate was terrible, but he was closing, I think, 4 to 5 policies a day, Christian, like just
Mm.
killing it in the life insurance space specifically. And there was another insurance agent who was like, I've been in the business for a long time. I'm really good. Like my closing rate, I'll close half the people I talk to, which is awesome. And I'm like, that's amazing. But like, I just talked to some young kid who like freaking sucks and closes like 20% of the people he talks to. He's
Yeah.
making 3 times as much as you are, bro. Like it's literally a volume game a lot, right? So,
Yeah.
when it comes to the close rate and just a closing has to start with you talking to them. And we don't spend enough time getting people on the phone. I'll share a couple tricks that I've found. Tricks isn't a
Please.
good word. I'll share a couple tips that I've found
Yeah.
to get people to pick up the phone. So when somebody fills out a Facebook lead form, that first message that you send, right? Or the lead heroes lead is dropped in your database. The first message you send has an introduction paragraph about you with a picture of you. That's the first one. So now they're putting a face to a name. You're a real person, right? Then as soon as they book the appointment with you, instead of sending like this professional, like, hey, I'm a real insurance agent, look at me, send one that's either you of your family or you doing a hobby. So now they're getting to know
Mm.
you. They're building that relationship. Insurance is a relationship business. And most of the time, especially if they fill out a Facebook lead form, you are not the only agent they're talking to, right? And so you
Yeah.
are now in competition with other really good agents because they're just filling out forms, man. Like they just want help. They don't they're like, oh, this person might help, this person might help, right? So, it's about you becoming somebody that they know, like, and trust. And if you're just words on a screen, you're not going to get as many pickup rates as the guy sending the photo of like, hey, here's me. Here's me playing basketball. Like, here's me holding up the phones and I'm going to call you in 30 minutes, right? Like the pictures go a long way to making people feel like they're talking to a real person and not just seeing text on a screen. So I highly recommend sending selfies and other fun photos with the text messages that you automatically send out to the people that are reaching out to you.
I love it. I think it helps make the agent a lot more relatable, right? Like
100%.
helps them show them that they're a person, they're a human being, they're humanized in a sense. I love it. I was kind of curious to kind of get your take on something, Alex. So
Yeah.
just curious on your perspective. So as a marketer and a technology expert in the industry, what goes through your mind when you see everything that is going on in the ACA and the Medicare space? What goes through your mind on it? Like, what is your view on it?
Yeah, I see so much opportunity in the space for people that are like going to embrace technology, right? So,
Yeah.
the harder things are means the more people fall away. I mean, I saw this in the insurance CRM space, right? So, unfortunately, I like to track, hey, what are the guys doing that I respect in this space, And so I follow a lot of people, and most of those people went out of business this year. Like, there's not a lot of us left that are still going out there advertising, innovating. Many people are closing their doors. Other people are just, not trying to grow anymore. Like they're just happy with the clients they have while they kind of figure out the environment that they're in right now. A lot's been changing. So I look in the Medicare and ACA space in a very similar vein. I
Hmm.
see that this is getting really, really hard. I'm not downplaying that. Man, it's freaking hard right now. It's hard to make money in this space, right? So, but the agents that stick this out, I think are going to thrive. And the only ones that I'm seeing, again, very limited perspective, I get it, but the only ones that I'm seeing thrive are the ones that are really leaning into tech. So there's a lot of big landmines that are out there right now in the Medicare and ACA space. The biggest one that I see is CMS, like squashing people. Like it's brutal. Like I haven't
Yeah.
seen that. It just feels like they're sending these letters out a lot more. I don't know. I don't know. It's just maybe it's just my perspective, but
Oh, we're
CMS
we're
is
we're
a
seeing we're
huge
seeing it
landmine.
too. Yeah, we're seeing it too. You're not alone there.
Yeah, it's crazy. The second landmine is people using tools that they shouldn't be using
Yeah.
because it's getting them into trouble. Like we're seeing a lot of
Yeah.
people put themselves in hot water by, using AI when they don't really know how it works or how to stop it, right? But the third thing that I'm seeing is people just insisting on relying on old ways of doing things when, man, it's so freaking hard. Kind of like the example we gave earlier. If you're meeting with someone face to face and you're having this conversation about the plans, how do you record that conversation and like showcase that? Like it's kind of awkward to put a tape recorder down on the table while you're talking. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's a hard process to do that. And I know agents do that, but it's so much easier to just record the phone calls, have all the texts and emails come in, be recorded. Like the agents that are insisting on doing things the old way are unfortunately getting squeezed by all the regulations and requirements that CMS and others are putting on the industry. So, that's what I'm seeing from my angle. And I am seeing what it feels like, that there's not as much big money in the Medicare and ACA space like there has been in a few years. It feels like there's a lot more independent agents and FMOs and stuff doing lead gen for their agents. And so it feels like, there's not as many big money players coming in the space. And I'm guessing that's because of all the regulations and stuff that are out there right now. It's kind of squeezing them out, which is great for the agents that survive.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think if it's an easier game to play, everyone wants to play.
Yep.
But if it's a harder game to play, only the people that are very serious want to play.
Yep. And it's a hard game to play right now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I want to be respectful of your time, but there's a couple more topics I wanted to kind of get together. Let's talk about CRMs, right? Like I get the question still all the time from agents that what should they value in a CRM? As someone who is a certified CRM expert, what would your answer to that question be? What should a CRM really be doing for an agent in your mind?
Number one, keeping you compliant and protected in case anybody sends an allegation. 100%. But like if they cannot show you, hey, look, like here's the signed consent forms, and let's see how it gets downloaded as a PDF. If they cannot show you that, run, because that means that you're gonna have to build this out yourself, or you're gonna have to use another tool. Like no reason to do that. Number two, make sure that they have support that is easily accessible and responds quickly to you in case you need it, because especially during times like AEP and stuff, like every hour counts, every minute counts when it comes to you feeling like you're stuck trying to get something done. So make sure they got great support. At Agent CRM, that's one of the things we pride ourselves on, but others do it well too. The third thing is, man, there is no reason for you to build out a workflow or a funnel, Christian. Like insurance agents do not need to be tech experts. They should be able to walk into a CRM and have everything built out for them. And so find someone that's done the hard work, put in on the time and effort to getting things up and running for you, so that all you got to do is the revenue generating activities. You should not be building out workflows. I might get in trouble for saying this, but you should not be signing up for a Go High level account and building everything out yourself. Find someone who has done the hard work, put in the effort to making it perfect for insurance agents, whether it's Agent CRM or others, and use them so that you can focus on the revenue generating activities. So, but first and foremost, man, make sure that they're able to help you stay compliant and protected. Those are the big things.
I love it. Talk about Agent CRM for a second, right? We talked about it a little bit throughout kind of the conversation, but like, what do you feel like separates Agent CRM from a lot of the competitors out there in the space? And how can people learn more about Agent CRM if they were interested?
Yeah, well, you can learn more by going to agent-crm.com. We can't get agentcrm.com yet. The person who owns the domain just will not respond to our phone calls, but that's okay. Agent-crm.com. But I think, for us, our big focus in 2024, we had two big rocks that we were trying to move. Number one is making it super duper easy for agents to get into Agent CRM and start making money from it right away. And so one of the things that we had done well before was we created a lot of marketing assets, but prior to August, you still had to tie those assets together. In other words, it was like, here's my new lead workflows. And then after the new lead, I'm going to import, these email sequences for onboarding. I'm going to send them over here. Like you still had to connect the dots a little bit, which I thought was fine because it gave you a lot of flexibility. But honestly, agents didn't want to figure out how to do that. And I totally get it. It took me a while to understand that, but I get it. So in August, we released what we call our branding bundles. And so that is literally everything in a box. So let's talk Medicare. So in the Medicare branding bundle, one of the other things we did in the branding bundles was we used name and color conventions. So like 1.0 was lead gen. Well, we built out 8 lead generation methods that generate leads for you organically in a workflow. When somebody comments on your Instagram post, when they text the word Medicare to your phone number, etc. So we have 8 different ways for you to generate a lead without paying a dime for it. No ads, no lead vendors, right? These are people that are responding to you, that know, like, and trust you and are reaching out. So this is really cool. The second thing is we automated the process of figuring out, is this person a T65 lead? is this person not old enough yet? And like, are they calling maybe for somebody else? Is this person 65 and older? And like, we have different ways of handling those leads, no matter what bucket they fall into. And then we built everything out as far as like the appointment workflows. I personally sat down and wrote these long-term nurturing sequences for like so you're messaging people for a year. So we're really proud of the fact that you can walk into Agent CRM and as a Medicare agent, grab our branding bundle, use our new tool, the customizer, where you fill in your business info, upload your logo, choose your colors, and literally every single email and page on your funnels is branded to you. Like, I don't know of any other CRM that has that. We're super proud of that. So we've made it so easy, Christian. We've made it so easy for people to walk into Agent CRM and get a ton of use of it right away. So there's still some things that are things that we got to deal with, that everyone's got to deal with, like A2P registrations, kind of a pain in the butt. But, you know, those are things that we help with. We literally give you the website with the privacy policy and the terms of service. So you just go, I'm going to fill this in. I'm going to follow, you know, the Agent CRM A2P reg, fill it out, bam, right? So that's number one. Number two is we really focused on how do we take, like the other big rock was, how do we take these new tools and make them safe to use for insurance agents, right? So we built out AI tools that are okay for agents to use. Like, it's safe. You can have AI respond and not panic and not have to look over your shoulder. Is the AI bot saying something that it shouldn't be saying, right? So we really took a lot of effort into making that a reality. So we believe that there is no reason for insurance agents not to embrace all the tech that is out there. But we also believe that none of the tech is ready for insurance out of the box, right? You have to be able to modify it to fit our unique industry.
Yeah.
And so if you're talking to another marketer that has not yet worked with an insurance agent, they are not a good fit for you. Not because they're not smart, brilliant, genius, or willing to make it work. They just don't know all the ins and outs of the space. And so because they don't know, their ignorance puts you in trouble. Why risk it, right? Find someone who knows the space, knows how to build it, and partner with them. And so when I say partner, I just mean invest in their software, invest in the tools they have. There's a ton of really great tools that are out there. Agent CRM is one of them, but there's a lot of people that are passionate about the insurance space that are building really cool technology and tools that I love supporting. I love cheering them on. You know, I like to connect with them, you know, and chat with them every once in a while to see, hey man, how's everything going? How can I support you? What are you seeing? Like, I like to talk to the other tech CEOs that are in the insurance space just to encourage them and see where they're seeing the market. So there's a lot of fun stuff that are happening, but Agent CRM, I think, is on the cutting edge when it comes to ease of use and taking the latest tech and making it something that insurance agents can use with confidence.
Love it. Love it. Brother, thank you for doing this. This was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the conversation. I appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, especially this time of the year. And yeah, I appreciate you. And, you know, we'll have to do it again soon.
Excellent. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate it, man. Anytime, bro. Anytime. Have me back on. I'm happy to talk insurance.
I love it. I love it. Guys, if you enjoyed the episode, the only way we're going to know is if you smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Comment your thoughts down below. What do you think? Are there any questions you have that we didn't get to? What do you think about the conversations we have? What do you think about CMS? Trying to crush agents every day. What do you think about CRMs, right? What questions do you have about CRMs? Drop it all down in the comment section. Make sure to subscribe. We'll be back with you next time with another person doing big time things in the industry. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.